So for those of you who didn't get the notification over on Indiegogo, I have effectively canceled the Englewood Book 2 campaign. Now, in that update, I go into a little bit more detail as to why we're canceling it. And it basically boils down to the simple fact. Asking backers to back a book while a previous book has not been delivered, especially given the current climate around Indiegogo campaigns, is asking too much. As such, I made a mistake of listening to some bad advice from some people, and I paid for it. So at the end of the day, it completely and totally falls on me. We are planning to relaunch the campaign with a more reasonable goal for the time that we're allotting for it, as opposed to just asking for $15,000 up front and expecting to get it in 60 days. It was going to, for better or worse, not be something that we attain in such a short amount of time. And this is one of those times where I hate to admit that my biggest detractors were right. It is asking way too much. It really is. The fact of the matter is that hype for Indiegogo campaigns in general, unless you are a big name that already has an established name in comic books, is at an all-time low, despite what other people might tell you. Neophytes such as myself don't really have that sort of thing built around, which is oftentimes why you see so many people who are smaller names within this scene going around and doing a lot of shows. They go out, they shake hands with people, and basically make the connections that they can so that people can get to know them a bit better and know that when they back the book, they're getting a secure purchase. That's another mistake that I made, was thinking that I can just do all of this on my own. I clearly cannot. Now, obviously, there are people out there that are more exceptions to the rule, but one thing I will be honest is that those people that I'm actually very friendly with, like Charlie's London or Mandy Summers, have been much smarter in regards to their promotion of their books than I have. I will freely admit that I get a bit impatient sometimes. I get a great idea, I get it out there, and I want to put it on Indiegogo, I want it to sell, and I want to get it out as soon as possible. Because I'm admittedly anxious about all of this. I'm admittedly the type of person who wants to put out a bunch of books per year and get them out to people within a timely manner. And I feel like I'm getting the formula down as to how we can approach it and get it done, but at the end of the day, if people aren't secure enough in whether or not that book can be fulfilled, they're just not going to back it. So I've got hundreds of people that still haven't gotten their copy of Three Nights, which, by the way, those all domestic should be fulfilled by the end of the month, that just don't want to purchase anything else yet. And I understand that completely. And I think that it's a little bit much for me to ask that. It was irresponsible of me. And for those of you out there that held interest in Englewood Book 2 and still want to back it, but you want to wait till you get your copy of Three Nights, completely understandable. And we're going to wait. We're going to wait a bit, and we're going to figure out how we're going to be able to do this, and how we're going to be able to do it properly, and how we're going to be able to market this properly, and so on and so forth. I think the big lesson that I've learned from all of this is that there really is a formula when it comes to having a successful independent comic. And that formula is pretty simple. It's make sure that you've not overcomplicated things, and if you know what's successful, stick with it. I think one thing that I did on Englewood Book 2 is I honestly got away from the idea of just keeping the whole thing simple. Don't have a ton of tiers, don't have a ton of options, just have things simple and easy to understand so that when you grab it, you know what you're getting. And in overcomplicating things, by setting the goal too high, by having too many options, so on and so forth, we really ended up kneecapping ourselves, which, again, repeated the exact same issues that we had with the first Englewood book. So, as such, I suppose that by getting away from the things that I knew were going to be successful, I ended up dooming this campaign from the get-go, and I'm never going to do that again. So, let's go ahead and answer some questions that I've gotten from some people. First, will I get my money back from the previous campaign before you relaunch the new one? The answer is yes. Indiegogo has assured me that they will get everybody refunded within 15 business days of that campaign being canceled. As such, I'm not going to launch a new campaign until we're able to get that up. So, for those of you that donated, you're going to get your money back, and then once everybody's good and 3 nights is fulfilled, we will go ahead and launch it, and then we'll go from there. The second question that I've gotten from some people is, what does this mean for the future? Well, one thing that I am going to be doing as of right now is I'm going to be putting future plans on hold. Meaning any other books that I was working on past Englewood Book 2 or 3 Nights, 4 Days Part 2, I'm going to be placing a hold on the script, because the fact of the matter is that having this setback puts everything on a delay. As such, I really shouldn't be getting ahead of myself anymore. I need to focus on what I need to do right now to get things done, as opposed to trying to think that 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line is a guaranteed thing. I think that the biggest lesson that I've learned from all of this is nothing is guaranteed. There's no such thing as guaranteed success in this world. You have to be doing the right things to keep things going and to keep the momentum going. And I clearly need to learn how to do that. There have been times that when it comes to comic books, I've been kind of hot and cold just because of involving myself in nonsense that I didn't really need to be involved in. So that's my own damn fault, and I'm going to need to stop doing that. I have things that I'm good at, I have things that I enjoy doing, and I just need to stick to those things. And if I do that, I have no doubt that 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, we'll have the success that we had with 3 Nights on every book going forward, if not greater success. So, at the end of the day, I feel like, again, I failed you guys, the fans, more than anything, and that's what kills me. Is I got into this because I wanted to make comic books for comic fans that they're excited to read. And I have made stupid mistakes that have taken away from the excitement of these new stories. And at the end of the day, I have no one to blame but myself for this. So I'm going to eat that responsibility. I'm going to eat that humble pie and go from there. Because you guys deserve better from me than what I've been able to offer so far. You really do. So, between now and then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a break from promoting my own work. And instead, what I'm going to go ahead and do is work on getting 3 Nights fulfilled, or rather kicking Hatman in the ass so he gets it fulfilled, because that's his part of the job. And making sure that when we launch this next Englewood Book 2 campaign, that I'm ready for it, and that I'm ready to do what I need to do to get it funded and go from there. So, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I do appreciate you guys' patience, and I appreciate everybody's support. So, you guys are awesome, and you have put up with me through situations where other people clearly have not. And for that, I am very grateful, to say the least. So, with all that said, my name is Micah Curtis. Have a good day.